All right, let's just dive right into this explainer and decode Anand Vemula's absolute craziest AI trick from his Tech Horizon channel. Seriously, imagine going from a totally blank screen to a fully functional, complex data dashboard in, what, under 10 minutes? No endless debugging, no tearing your hair out. We're looking at a highly structured method literally designed for building apps in record time. If you've ever felt completely bogged down by the coding process, or, frustrated when an AI just breaks your entire project trying to fix one tiny button, well, get ready. We are breaking down a visual blueprint today that kind of changes everything about how we build software.
Real quick, here's our agenda for today's explainer. Number 1, the craziest AI trick. 2, the ultimate AI duo. 3, the 3-step workflow. 4, system versus single prompting. And finally, number 5, pro tips for success. Let's get right to it.
Section 1, the craziest AI trick, building full apps in minutes. Section 2, the ultimate AI duo, Claude Opus 4.7 and NotebookLM.
So, you're probably asking yourself, why do we specifically need these two powerful models working together instead of just using one? It's a super common trap to think, hey, this large language model is incredibly smart, it should just handle the whole project from start to finish. But actually, think about it. Even a genius needs an assistant so they don't get totally overwhelmed. Cramming every single task into one chat window? Yeah, that's exactly where the whole thing breaks down.
The absolutely crucial point here is that they have distinct roles. It forms this really amazing synergistic strategy. Honestly, it's like a world-class construction crew. Claude acts as both your visionary architect and your master builder, while NotebookLM steps in as that super meticulous project manager who keeps all the blueprints perfectly organized. By dividing the labor like this, we drastically increase the quality and reliability of what you get at the end.
Which brings us to Section 3, the 3-step workflow, our core engine. Check out how cyclical this workflow is. We kick things off with Claude for our deep research, then we transition over to NotebookLM for organization, and finally, we bring it all back home to Claude for the actual build. Let's break down exactly what happens in each of these critical phases, because this is key.
Zooming right in on Step 1. Now, Claude 4.7 isn't coding yet. Let me repeat that, no coding. It's strictly acting as our lead researcher to build a rock-solid foundation. In this phase, you're just chatting with Claude about your app idea, who your target audience is, and the features you absolutely need. You are definitely not asking for Python code here. Instead, you're asking Claude to outline the database schema, define those user personas, map out API endpoints, the whole shebang. You're basically generating a massive design document and gathering all your raw materials.
All right, now that we have our research, Step 2 shifts all that heavy lifting over to NotebookLM. Honestly, this is where the magic really happens. We take all that raw research gathered by Claude and feed it directly into NotebookLM. Why? Well, because NotebookLM grounds its answers strictly in the uploaded source documents, which mathematically limits its ability to hallucinate. It's a real game changer. You just ask it to formulate the absolute perfect step-by-step master prompt based entirely on the research you just gave it. It organizes the chaos, spots technical dependencies, and just creates this flawless roadmap.
Finally, we hit Step 3, and it's time to actually build. We hand that pristine, completely hallucination-free blueprint from NotebookLM straight back to Claude 4.7 to deploy the code. And because Claude now has this incredibly organized master plan, instead of just some vague, half-baked idea from a human prompt, it deploys the code with mind-blowing accuracy. It generates the final software exactly as planned, which drastically reduces bugs.
Moving right along to Section 4, system versus single prompting, the paradigm shift.
Take a look at the contrast here. Single prompting is just chaotic. You're asking for an entire app at once, typing, hey, build me an app that does X, Y, and Z, and then you just cross your fingers. That approach completely overloads the AI's context window. And yeah, it almost always leads to buggy apps. System prompting, on the other hand, compartmentalizes all that cognitive load. The AI never gets confused because it's strictly focusing entirely on one specific task at a time, researching, then planning, and then building.
And finally, Section 5, Pro Tips for Success, the final polish.
Keep these rapid-fire pro tips in your back pocket to ensure you get top-tier results. First off, absolutely resist the urge to let Claude write code in Step 1. Keep it focused purely on architectural design. I can't stress that enough. Second, ensure NotebookLM has all the context. You've got to feed it every single piece of data Claude generated so your master prompt has zero gaps. And third, always review Claude's final output. Look, AI is a genius, for sure, but it still needs a human supervisor to make sure it didn't, accidentally build a door on the ceiling. The barrier to creating high-quality software has literally never been lower. You now have the exact blueprint to completely bypass prompt fatigue, leverage two incredibly distinct AIs, and build at lightning speed. The system is super clear, the tools are ready and waiting. So, what functional app are you going to build first today?